We are back only 3 minutes late. I appreciate you guys being here. We missed yesterday's live stream, but we're back now, and I'm super back. I'm super back. I'm super happy to be back. Tons of stuff has been going on in the market. So give me a second here. We're going to share the live stream in the Discord, and then we'll get right to work. Videos, come join me live. Okay. So that is that announcement there. I haven't had my coffee yet. So, what is going on? Appreciate you guys being here. So, the giveaway today is going to be going to the number two spot, the second most engaged. They're not number one, not number two. We're trying to sort of fix the spam issue. So that's what's going to go on today. So ask your questions. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat as we go through everything. But at the end, we will give away that 5K 3-step challenge for completely free. So, what are we going to look at today? First things first, let's take a look at TradingView. You can see here Bitcoin has had a little bit of a rally. Gold is flat, but yesterday was a very wild day. Bitcoin was not looking good at all. The Nasdaq was down 1.45%. S&P. If we pull up the charts, you can see the rally that we've had. Let's go on the 1 hour. So you can see we came to the lows of 106. 106, and it was not looking so good from there, but we've had a little bit of a rally. Appreciate all of you guys joining. Fogos, Sabari, Suhail, the prop trader, Hannah, nice to see you again. Thank you guys all for being here. Yeah, how did you guys do? Happy Halloween. How did you guys do with FOMC? What are you guys dressing up for as Halloween also? Tell me your Halloween costume. I'm a party pooper. I won't be dressing up. So yeah, Bitcoin down to 106, but we've had a nice little rally back up to 109 overnight. I took a trade on not yesterday, but the day before, so Wednesday actually. This guy right here. I'll see if I can actually pull up C Trader and show you the trade that I took. Give me a moment now. It was a pretty nice trade on Bitcoin. What do I need to do here? Actually, you can just let me pull up my Twitter. We posted it on there. Here we go. So you can see here. This was with the news on Wednesday. So this was when Powell was out. So we hit the 200-day moving average right on Bitcoin, this green guy right here. So it was a pretty obvious trade. Didn't hold it for too long. It was like 1.4% win. Didn't come up to the TP, but that was kind of just a fake TP. Anyways, I was watching it manually, so that's what was going on with that. Are you going to bring daily payouts? We're not going to bring daily payouts. We are not going to bring daily payouts. I mean, biweekly is nice. Biweekly is fine. BTC just in the weekend. Can you post a video on the strategy you use? I have posted many videos on the strategy that I have used. Your best bet is probably going to be, let me see here. This one, I think I break down everything. Let's drop this guy into the chat. And then we also have the school community. We also have the free school community with Pip Munch, completely free. And you get the first week of the Prop for Masterclass for completely free. And then if you purchase a Lark funding evaluation, you get all of the other weeks for free as well. And this entire community is free. If I come into members, come into invite, copy that guy. I'll pop it in here. Lark 3.0, yeah, unfortunately, a slight delay from November 3rd to November 17th. So on Monday, we're going to announce a special promo to make up for the delay. Again, it's the let me come back to this guy. It is going to be the final like big promo of 2025. So today's your last day to get 10% off. The promo on Monday will not be for like money off. So if you want to save money, use October 10 today. And then on Monday, we'll have a special promo for 2 weeks. And then we'll officially be launching Lark 3.0, which I'm very excited about. So that's what's going on with that. So let's get right into it. Let's look at what is going on in the market. I hope you've got Tums ready because Powell's comments on Wednesday are giving the market a bad case of monetary indigestion. So stocks, Chipotle, Meta, and everything else crashes. Gold shines, Bitcoin dumps. Amazon and Netflix are climbing. Trump orders the testing of nuclear weapons. That was a kind of interesting one. And Berkshire Hathaway just formed a death cross. So yesterday's numbers red across the board. You could see Bitcoin 2.85%. So pretty nasty. Dow Jones, not too bad. Basically flat 0.23, but the Nasdaq down 1.5%, S&P 500 down 1% as well. So that is not a great day overall. Trade war over and market crashes. So this tweet was really funny. Remember when Trump was running for president 2024? He said, we're going to be winning so much. Everyone's going to be saying, please, please, no more winning. We can't take it anymore. Yeah, this is what winning looks like. So just tons and tons of red yesterday. But we actually had a trade agreement. So kind of crazy. So what happened? Took the market a good night's sleep to decide that it actually hated what Powell said on Wednesday. So remember, Wednesday we had the interest rate decision, 0.25 basis point cut as expected. But the big event, like I said, was going to happen is what Powell said. And Powell didn't show a lot of confidence regarding another rate cut in December and another rate cut, future rate cuts in 2026. Okay, so he hinted that there might not be another one in December, and the number of cuts next year is still up in the air. So to make things weirder, we finally got a US-China trade deal. So that's why stocks sold off, because the market wants those rate cuts. So it took a little bit of time. The market had to sleep on Powell's comments before it dumped yesterday. What was interesting is we finally got a US-China trade deal, and the market still dumped. So it shows that the market was much more focused on what Powell said than what Trump did with China. So the deal of the breakdown, China will pause its export restrictions on rare earths for a year. The US will reduce tariffs from 57% to 47%, mainly by cutting the fentanyl tariff in half. And China also agreed to buy a bunch of US agricultural products like soybeans and sorghum. Okay, so like we said, kicking the can down the road, it's not a full peace treaty, more like a temporary, let's not fight until next year. Trump said it'll be renegotiated annually, and the markets are calling it what it is, another kick of the can down the road. Less trade drama is good, but Powell uncertainty equals bad, right? So I bought some Bitcoin yesterday. I did buy the dip around the lows. Around the lows, I bought the dip. But for stocks and whatnot, which we're going to talk about, I'm waiting for some more juicy opportunities. So I bought around yesterday when I bought, the return to the all-time highs is about 18%. So it's starting to get interesting, less so now. I mean, we had the rally overnight, but yeah, I bought a little bit, but still, even with the indexes dropping, we're basically at all-time highs. So that's what went on with China. That's what went on with Powell. Chipotle, this one made a lot of headlines yesterday, gives investors indigestion. Chipotle is not only down 45% year to date, but yesterday it dropped 17.5%. Chipotle has been crushing the dreams of gym bros with shrinking portions and higher prices, and now they're crushing investors too. So what happened? They cut their full year sales forecast, never a good sign. At least 5 analysts slashed their price targets. And last quarter, same store sales rose by 0.3%, but the traffic dropped, which is not good. And the CEO even said, I think we have it here, the drop in customers aged 25 to 35, which has to be their, bread and butter, basically their core crowd, there was a big drop in them. So we'll blame it on inflation and burrito size deflation. I mean, there's been these posts on Twitter of somebody ordering from Uber Eats and then ordering from inside Chipotle, and the size difference in portions is just insane. So yeah, an absolute massive sell-off, and this goes to show really consumer sentiment. Again, I say it every single morning. You don't have to own Chipotle stock. You don't have to, trade it, invest it, but it shows consumer sentiment, right? If these lower priced fast food chains are not doing well, that shows that the consumer is hurting. And we'll see down below that other similar stocks like Kava and another one, Sweet Green or something, they tanked too because this shows. Listen, if people aren't willing to spend $15 on a burrito bowl, they're tightening their wallets, which is not going to be too good. Okay, so this is really a play on consumer sentiment. So totally, totally wild. I'm not buying the stock. If I have free time, I would do a little bit more research on it, but very, very interesting what's going on there with Chipotle. This one was huge as well. Meta had an awful day yesterday. It was their worst day since 2022, wiped $200 billion in market cap. You can see here they were at 760 and they dropped to 657. So an absolutely terrible, terrible day for Meta. Keeping the pain train rolling, Meta had its worst day since October 2022, crashing 11% after missing Q3 earnings thanks to a casual 15.9% $15.9 billion one-time expense. Okay, so absolutely insane. What happened? So that one-time hit of $15.9 billion came from Trump's Big Beautiful Bill Act, which changed Meta's US tax obligation. So they had to pay that massive bill. Meanwhile, Zuck is doubling down on AI. So they're increasing their investments into AI from 66 billion to 70.72 billion. Imagine being able to find just another, 4 to 6 billion dollars is absolutely insane. But the thing is, it actually Meta actually had really good revenue. Their revenue grew 26% year over year, but nobody cared because the market saw the spending spree and panicked. Okay. My biggest mistake in life is not buying, Meta stock when it was under $100 in 2022. The stock is absolutely wild. Still, we're pretty high right now, even with the drop yesterday. All-time highs of 780. We've dropped there. So yeah, pretty interesting. I'm not buying it, but I've learned, never bet against Zuckerberg. He tends to always pull things out. So that's what's going on with Meta, Chipotle, and we will take a look at gold shortly. Like I said, last day, final day. If you want 10% off, it's our last 10% off promo of 2025. What we have coming on Monday is a special promo it's not a discount. Okay, it's something else. It's not a discount. So if you want to save some money, today is the last day. Code October 10. And that's all that I have to sell you. That's what's going on with us at Lark Funding. Moving on, gold shines. I see a lot of messages in the chat. A lot of you guys are asking about gold. So let's take a look at gold because it actually had a really good day. While Bitcoin did not have a good day. And sometimes we've been seeing them sort of move in tandem, but that is not what happened yesterday at all. So the only thing smiling yesterday, right? Everything cracked. The only thing smiling were the gold bugs as the metal ripped over 2%, climbing back above 4K. So if I look at the chart right now, we're sitting at $4,030. So we're still back above a 4K. So I took a look. Was it because of a weak dollar? Right? No, the dollar actually rose 0.4%, which makes perfect sense because Powell said, right, not as many rate cuts as expected. Not in those words, but in that sort of vibe, that sort of language. So what happened? It was just a classic flight to safety, right? With everything selling off, right? You think, boom, risk off, flight to safety. People started buying up gold again, right? So when markets panic, traders sprint back to shiny rocks. Plus, gold's been selling off. Gold's had a very strong sell-off. I think if we pull up the chart, I think we've dropped from the high of 4360-ish. We did drop a total of 11%, and now we're down 8% from the high. And you can see here I still have that 38 fib lined up, waiting for that potential short opportunity. Maybe. Maybe we'll see. But it was just a classic move to safety, right? So that's what happened. Whereas Bitcoin, not so great, face planted. This one was really interesting. There's now a 60% chance on Kalshi, which is a prediction market, that Bitcoin will drop below 100K before the year ends, which is really, really interesting. Let me go on their website. Let me see what it's at now. I don't usually go. Da, da, da. How low will Bitcoin get this year? There's a 48% chance on this one that will be below 100K this year, which would be crazy. 25% chance of below 25%. And there's $5.7 million placed on this. How high will Bitcoin get this year? This year, wow, $19 million bet on this. How high will Bitcoin get this year? There's 41% chance of 130K or above. That is crazy. That is really crazy. That is super bullish. I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but I'm not that bullish. That is really, really wild. That's super wild. So that's what happened with Bitcoin. So, like I said, market overview, some tasty movers and shakers. Like I said, your Kava and Sweetgreen saw Chipotle 17% nosedive and said, hey, don't leave us out. Both stocks joined the pity party down 11% and 8%. So, again, it's that sentiment play of people are worried about what's going on here. Fundamentally in the economy, there's some cracks. Amazon was super interesting. So remember earlier in the week, we spoke about them laying off 30,000 employees. And I thought, well, the timing was kind of weird because they reported earnings on Thursday. So it's almost like they were trying to be proactive and say, hey, we're not going to have very good earnings on Thursday, but it's fine. We've already fired all these employees to try and, make the books look better. But that's actually not what happens. That's actually not what happened at all. The company crushed expectations and the stock popped 9% in after hours. Firing 30,000 people is now bullish. Our beloved Coinbase, I saw on Twitter, I couldn't find an article on it, but I did see that Coinbase bought $300 million of Bitcoin in Q3. So I need to further verify this, but there was a post on Twitter that went viral about this. So absolutely insane if it is 100% true. This one was interesting. Apple beat earnings, but the stock dumped 5% originally when we wrote this. And then after I wrote this, it actually bounced like 8% or something. Look at this. So it went from 271 at the close all the way down to 264, and now it's up in the pre-market hours to 284. So talk about, just Apple earnings send the stock higher on upbeat iPhone commentary. Yeah. So, and Warren Buffett sold most of his position in Apple a while ago. So I'm actually curious. Did he sell all of it? See here. Da, da, da. He still owns, but has significantly reduced. In the second quarter of 2025, Buffett sold around 20 million shares of Apple, part of a larger reduction trend since late 2023, resulting in about 70% of the position being sold. Despite this, Apple remains the largest holding in Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio, valued at about $63 billion. 21%. I think the most interesting thing when you study the greats, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, it's that they actually don't like diversification, right? The common sentiment is diversify, diversify. They actually don't like diversification. They say if you diversify when you don't know what you're doing, right? If you can find an incredible company at an incredible price, why would you not put every single possible dollar that you have into the company? So that's something that I've been thinking through lately, which is really, really interesting. I've been listening to that podcast, Founders, which is a fun one. Founders podcast. Yeah, this guy here, he's got some good stuff. If you guys are interested in just like listening to, about great founders, there's Warren Buffett ones, there's Charlie Munger ones. So there's some really, really good stuff on there. Let's come back to the stock. So Amazon, we said Coinbase, Apple, Netflix. Netflix announced a 10-for-1 stock split and the shares climbed after hours. So their stock was really expensive. So makes sense. Friday motivation, a couple of payouts here from FTMO. So that's always cool. Pre-market fuel. Trump just told the Department of War to start testing nuclear weapons. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but had no choice. Russia is second, and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What are the comments here? Ha! The meeting with President Xi must be off to a great start. Yeah, pretty wild. Nuclear bomb shopping. Yeah. So pretty funny there. Traders are complaining about this prop firm. What's going on here? Oh, this is something about instant funding. Yeah, I've seen some. I won't get into it, but yeah, I've seen some growing complaints about some payout denials there. Berkshire Hathaway just formed a death cross. Berkshire is not doing great right now. You can see here. Berkshire just formed a death cross for the first time since August. The last one marked the exact bottom. So pretty interesting there. Let's take a look at the chat. Let's see what's going on. Let me know what you guys want me to take a look at, and we'll take it from there. Let's see. Right now, Alex is the number 2 crown. So he's got to be careful. Don't send too many messages. You'll go to number 1. Where do I think Bitcoin will be next year? I have no idea, but long term, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. Just the fact that, there's only 21 million ever created. It's decentralized. I don't think anybody has ever spent, 10 hours studying Bitcoin that hasn't left liking Bitcoin. So you should definitely give us a curated list of your podcasts. You've been recommending some good ones I'd like to check out. Yeah, that's, I listen to 2 podcasts. I listen to My First Million. Well, I listen to more than 2 podcasts, but the ones where I don't really miss an episode is My First Million, which is, I can share my screen here. Really good business podcast, really fun to listen to. They're doing a lot of interviews now, which kind of sucks. I don't like the interviews, but when the 2 hosts are just chatting, that's really fun. They have really good banter together. And then the Founders podcast is one that I'm listening to. And in terms of that, if there's somebody that I'm interested in who does an interview somewhere else, I'll find the podcast. But for the most part, My First Million for sure, and Founders. Yeah. I absolutely don't understand stocks one day when I'm big. Yeah, I mean, Martin, yeah, stocks are what is it that you don't understand about stocks? What's max funding? Max funding at Lark is currently 200K. Stock, let's go. Some euro fundamentals. Okay. And on gold, we took a look at gold, but I'll pull up the chart. So basically, actually, if I pull up the email from just a couple of days ago, we wrote about I wrote about the pound. So give me 1 second. Let me pull that up because the pound was crashing, and that'll connect well to euro fundamentals. Is it this guy here? Yeah, this one here. Because we missed the live stream yesterday, so we didn't go over this. Here we are. So again, for those of you who missed it, right, the Fed cut by 25 basis points, Powell, and quantitative tightening. Powell tanks the markets, right? Bank of Canada also cut rates again. So if you're trading the CAD, that's an important one to keep in mind. They cut by another 25 basis points as expected. But you can see here that the Canadian dollar has actually been strengthening versus the US dollar. So you're probably thinking, what the heck, they cut rates? Why did that happen? 2 reasons. One is risk on sentiment. This was before the sell-off yesterday, but also oil prices. So if you're trading the CAD, remember to keep an eye on oil prices. because the CAD is a commodity currency, very heavily dependent on the price of oil. It's been sort of supported like that. But if we look at USD CAD yesterday, I would imagine that it actually rose. Yeah. So it had a pretty strong move yesterday. You can see because the dollar right here, dollar index showed some strength. So I'll give it a second, guys. Sorry. Yeah, it should pop up. Should pop up. Let's just give it one little moment. If any of you guys are good with tech or anything, you need to let me know what to get to improve the live stream. It'll come. It'll come. I'm not moving the screen. You'll see it. Okay, perfect. Now you guys can see it. Sorry about that. Yeah, so you can see a nice move here on USD CAD. So we were getting that little bit of sell off, a little bit of CAD strength, but boom, yesterday that flight to safety, just a strong move to the upside. Yeah. So speaking of your not this one right here. Here we go. The pound gets pounded. So you could see here on the 5-day chart, pound versus US dollar, just looking absolutely ugly. And I was scrolling through pound US, pound CAD, pound yen. You can see they were all down. So, I started looking into what's going on. So the UK really, I mean, on Twitter, you see all the nonsense, all the crazy things that are happening in the UK. If I said that in the UK, I would be arrested. But there is really, a tough economic outlook taking place in the UK right now. So the government's facing a $20 billion pound fiscal shortfall after productivity forecasts got slashed. That's forcing the chancellor to either raise taxes or cut spending. All you need to know is that is terrible for growth. So you always have to ask yourself, if you have $1 million, right? And you have to park it into a country, you have to park it into a currency, right? You would look at all of these things. You'd say, well, what economy is healthy? What economy is growing, right? Where is the optimism? Okay. You would ask yourselves those things, and then you would have to put the money somewhere. And that is why the pound is selling off, because people are saying, well, the UK's economic outlook isn't looking so good. That's why the CAD was selling off, right? And this has been the whole argument, or the whole playbook of 2025, of every economy has been showing cracks except the US. This applied, up to, a month or two ago, right? Everybody around the world was cutting interest rates. The Bank of England, the Bank of Canada, right? I don't think Australia cut, but tons of banks around the world were cutting interest rates, but the Fed stayed the same. They didn't cut rates, right? So you start to see cracks everywhere except the US. And so that's why people were parking money into the United States, because it was the best of the worst. Right. So you have to ask yourself, right, as a trader, if you have this money, where are you going to park it? And for these reasons, right, you could just say, well, growth isn't looking so good. The UK has a bunch of problems. So I'm not going to park the money there. And that's why the pound has been selling off. So growth data is garbage. And then here, policy divergence. The Fed's cutting. The Bank of England's expected to move a bit slower because they've already cut. So traders are dumping the pound because fiscal weakness, plus rate cut expectations, risk off sentiment. So unless the UK data magically improves, the pound could keep sliding against the USD, the CAD, and the yen. So that's what's going on with the pound. And if we look at the charts, if we look at pound yen here, or we can start with pound CAD. Oh my goodness. Just this is the 4-hour chart. So just going back to like last week or 2 weeks ago, down 530 pips. So an insane move. An absolutely insane move. Pound yen, not quite as bad, because again, like I said earlier this week, pound yen is what happens when you combine two weak currencies. You just get this sideways movement. The yen is weak because their monetary policy is ridiculous. They're at like 0% rates. They were at negative for years. And the pound is weak for all of the reasons that we just said. So that's why trading pound yen is like futile right now, because it's just all this sideways movement. So that's pound yen. And then if we look at pound US, which I think is in my watch list here, right? Oh my goodness, it's like off the screen. It's down so bad. So yeah, the pound's not looking so good. We had a nice retest here of the daily 200. It's actually crazy that we've decisively broken below it. I can't even see here. The last time we broke below it was in April. very briefly, and then we broke above it back in March. So it's pretty significant from a technical perspective, the fact that pound US has now broken up below the daily 200 moving average, which is really, really significant. So I would look for, a pullback right around here. Not going to come this week, maybe next week, maybe the week after. It's a longer term play, but we've had a clear break below. Unless something fundamentally changes, I would like to see, a nice retest here, and I want to be short the pound versus the US dollar. I think that could be a nice trade to keep an eye on. My moving averages, I know it can maybe look a little overwhelming if you're not used to it. The thick ones are the daily moving averages, and those will remain in place regardless of the time frame that I'm on. So that's why I like using these ones. So you can see here, they'll be in the exact same place when I drop down to the 1 hour. So the green is the 200, the blue is the 100, and the 50. I need to finish my coffee. The green is the 200, the blue is the 100, and the red is the 50, I think. Let me pull this up. Yeah. Blue's 100 and the red is 50. And then the smaller, thinner ones are the exact same, but on the time frame that I'm on. So these are the 100 moving averages, these thin ones. And then, these would be the 4-hour moving averages. So it's kind of nice to have those daily ones because the higher the time frame, the better it's going to be. True, the monthly is closing. That's a very good point. That is a very good point that the monthly, let's take a look at a couple of monthly candles because that is a good point. Let me delete everything here. Yeah, we're running into that monthly moving average. Let me just remove the moving averages just so we can see more clearly. Yeah, so big sell off here in the pound for the month, pound US. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's for like 4 months now, right? We've been consolidating right between, the highs of 125 and, as low as 103, 106 really. So that's an interesting candle there on Bitcoin. Gold? That's nasty. That is a nasty monthly candle on gold. That's not very nice. That's a bit dangerous. It's not bullish. It's certainly not bullish. Um, it's not overwhelmingly bearish, but that doesn't look great. Pound yen. Pound yen also looking fairly bearish. I think we're gonna get some nice shorts. I think we're going to get some nice shorts on pound yen. I think the yen is still going to act as a safe haven. The yen has its own monetary issues, but if the weakness in the pound continues and if we still have this, risk off vibe that, sort of permeates, that sort of, stays in the shadows, I think based on this monthly close for the next few months, we could get some nice shorts here. You can see we retested the 88.6. Yeah, I think some shorts are lining up. Pound CAD, again, weakness in the pound here. That looks good for short. S&P, that's still very bullish. That is super, super bullish. I mean, look at this candle from back in April. Oh my gosh. You could have just seen this monthly close and go, that's it. I'm buying. And you could have held for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You would have made money every single month. Stocks only go up, eh? Dollar? The dollar's looking bullish here. Especially, we've had several months down at the lows of 96. The dollar's had a really, really bad year. So I think this is bullish for the dollar, just from a technical standpoint, but also, like I said, with Powell's comments, not going to be as aggressive with those rate cuts. It's actually good advice that you guys gave to look at the monthly chart because I rarely ever look at the monthly chart. I used to look at it a lot more. But it really can reinforce your trading ideas when you combine the fundamentals with the technicals. I want to take a look just at Polymarket just to see what the odds are of that December rate cut now, because before it was 90%. It was literally fully cooked into the market. And this is the real story. This summarizes everything that's going on, right? Earlier this week, it was a 90% chance, 90% chance. And now it is 67% chance. This summarizes everything that is going on. That's why we're seeing a stronger dollar. That's why stocks dropped. That's why, we had a stronger dollar yesterday. Yeah. So really, really interesting there. So that's the dollar. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's looking bullish. The Nikkei has had a heck of a month. Oh my gosh. This is the Japanese stock market. Just look at that. Absolutely insane. That is wild. And if we have some profit taking, I think that'll lead to a stronger yen because you're selling the stocks for the yen, right? So Aussie yen, it's looking bullish. Coinbase is not looking so hot there. MicroStrategy, yeah, MicroStrategy. Oh my goodness, what a bad month for MicroStrategy. What time is it? 9:30. So the market just opened. Let's see, pound US. Yeah, pound US is looking real bearish. So I like these shorts. I like the pound short. I like the dollar long play. CAD's a little bit more neutral, a little bit more difficult because of oil. But I like the pound short idea, and I like the long dollar. Long dollar isn't going to bode that well for gold, which from a technical perspective, like I've been saying every day, we're in no man's land on gold. So I think it's fine if we get a little bit of a deeper pullback, start to build out some market structure on the charts, so it'll be a little bit easier to trade. But I mean, it's just an unbelievable run, right? All the way back to 2024, 2023, just incredible. Not many red months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2024. We've had what, 2 red months, and they're barely red on gold. So just an absolutely insane run on gold here. Yeah. You guys have any questions? Drop them in the chat. Thomas says, do you check interest rates? Yeah, I'm always watching interest rates. Always. It's so important to understand what's going on in the market. Just look at what happened this week. Look at the crash we had in stocks, everything that's going on because of interest rates, because of what Powell said. Lark is coming. Yes, Lark 3.0 is coming on November 17th. 2-week delay. Monday we'll have something special. I'm with you on the dollar play, Alex. Yeah, I'm with you there. Oh, Alex, you were number 2. You were number 2. I see a number 3 crown there. Is the Monday offer a 2-for-1 deal? It's better than 2-for-1 deal. So again, it's not a discount. So if you guys want to save money, the last 10% discount, we're getting away from discounts. I hate discounts. I'm sure many traders are tired of prop firm discounts, these stupid 30%, 40%, 50% discounts. So it will not be a discount. So if you want to save money, the last 10% discount of 2025 is October 10, all caps. Okay. PM question. I can't understand the logic behind prop firms booking traders. Can you explain? If you know if they are good traders, why bet against them? So it's not betting against them. If you're booking a trader, it's not betting against them. Betting against them would literally be booking a trader but taking the reverse trade from them, because trading is incredibly difficult, and prop firms understand that. And so to find an outlier trader where you can book them and take all of their trades, you have to be a top 1% trader. So it's not that firms are necessarily against it, but you have to find those traders, right? If you were to book everybody, you would lose money because statistically 90% of traders fail their challenge. Can't wait for the new Lark. Trying to get money for the 100K. Really appreciate that, Thomas. I think it will be well worth it. 2 to 3 to 4 features that nobody else in the industry has. So I think it will be really very much worth the wait. Yeah, Alex, discounts are a race to the bottom. They say 100%. Just look at the prop firms right now that are running 30 to 50% discounts. I said a tweet about it. Literally, as soon as you see it on Twitter, go to their Trustpilot and they'll be below 4 stars. And it's really unfortunate. So Martin is trying to Martin, don't be spamming here. Don't be spamming. Yeah, we got to put you in a little bit of a timeout there. We got to put Martin's in a timeout for 1 minute. Sorry, Martin. Oh, I didn't mean to delete your messages. I just put a 1-minute timeout on you. Anyways, let's take a look at Twitter. Let's see what's going on with Twitter, where the drama's at, what's going on here. Traders are buying their last discount accounts of 2025. Yes, that is right. What do we have going on here? Yeah, yeah, there's all sorts of drama, unfortunately. This is Canada's top military general. Oh my goodness. What a mess. Yeah, there's some payout denials on the rise and whatnot. Let's check the Lark account. We have a little bit more market breakdown. So Alex says, so there are scenarios where some traders, uh, da, 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 uh, Alex says, so there are scenarios where there are traders move from B book to A book based on their trading. It has happened before. Yeah, absolutely. At Lark, we've done it in the past. Again, it's still all demo accounts, right? You're only ever getting a demo account with any prop firm. But that doesn't mean that the firm isn't going to monetize or try to monetize the data on the back end. Christian, good morning. I appreciate you being here. Thomas says, how can we get more exposure for Lark to be in the same height as FTMO since it gives the same quality, if not better? Well, I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. I mean, most of my day is spent thinking about this question, asking this question. Um, the thing about FTMO is they were first. So they had, that first mover advantage. The main idea about Lark 3.0 is to be different because just to be fully candid, we've offered a great service at Lark for over 3 years now. We objectively have the best programs, right? FTMO, as an example, 10% max drawdown, but 10% phase one target. We have 10% max drawdown, but 8% phase one target, right? There's 629 dollars, I think, for their 100K. All right, they're 619. So it's not 629, 619. It's on sale right now for their 10th year anniversary. That's cool. But they were 619. We were 500 plus discount code, right? So more affordable. They have minimum trading days. We didn't have any. We don't have any minimum trading days, right? So objectively, we've offered a better program, but it hasn't been enough to get us to, the height and size that we want. So a lot of prop firms, they run these insane discounts to try and get all of this marketing, people talking about them, but then they deny payouts, right? So I will never sacrifice longevity for growth, whereas most prop firms have done that, and they're not going to go out of business because of competition. They're going to go out of business because of what they've done to themselves. Another thing is influencers, right? A lot of these prop firms that are very popular, they work with these influencers. And originally we tried to work with influencers, but it was just absolutely painful. 95% of the influencers we tried to work with are liars. We would see them, fail their account and then post something different on their Twitter. They all want money. They all are like, they think they're miniature celebrities when they're not. And I just don't feel right working with traders or traders slash influencers who say they're profitable, but really they're just buying tons and tons and tons of challenges. So we've kind of removed ourselves from the influencer idea. All of that to say, Lark 3.0 is our attempt at answering that question of we are just going to do something completely different. Okay, so it won't be for everybody. It's going to be more expensive, but it is the answer to what I wanted when I was trying to become a full-time trader. So we're hoping that, to answer your question, Thomas, that with Lark 3.0, the changes we're bringing, which will be completely different from what other firms have, will help us get to that next level. What do you think about the future of prop firms? I think prop firms are here to stay. We've had, a lot of now broker back prop firms. Now, broker back prop firms are not immune from the same problems. And broker back, if it's like some sketchy broker that only has a license, somewhere, not that legit, it means nothing in my eyes. But we saw Kraken, the broker which I use, very, very, very legitimate crypto exchange. They just acquired a prop firm. So prop firms aren't going anywhere. I don't think they're going anywhere at all. Yeah. So Thomas, 95% of influencers are liars. First time I watched you live aside from the school streaming. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So influencers are just, I mean, the stories I have of people we have tried to work with, it's just Unbelievable. These guys who get, 3 or 4 likes on a Twitter post, they say, "I want $500 to post about you." It's like, dude, nobody even is following your account. Like, it's very it's very frustrating. Let's stock market crash, Hindenburg omen triggered. Well, that's not very good. That's not very good at all. I don't know what this is, but Hindenburg omen. Successful 25% of the time. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that is, but it doesn't sound so good. I failed 42 prop accounts. That's a lot of accounts. The average cost of a family's annual health insurance premium has jumped 6%. That's going up. Bitcoin price on Halloween. That's funny. Imagine buying in 2010 at 20 cents. 5 years ago, it was at 13,000. Last year was 72,000. Interesting. Yeah, you could look here, 2021, 61, and then boom, it took years to get back. So interesting. What's the chat saying? Yeah, that's absolutely crazy, crazy tweet. Do I think anyone can still become a full-time trader using prop firm leveraging? Yeah, I think if you keep your living expenses low and you get enough capital behind you, absolutely. It's not about having these massive like 10% monthly returns. It's about just having enough capital where you can live off, 1, 2, 3% monthly returns. My monthly expenses, I've shared in videos multiple times, when I quit my job was, $1,200, give or take a few $100. It was COVID, so um, it was very, very. I wasn't doing anything. It was very low, but that meant on a 100K account, I had to make 1%, 2%. So when you create your lifestyle around that, it makes it very possible, right? Can one be a trader and have a 9 to 5 job? Absolutely. You do not have to quit your job to trade. I can do my trading in less than an hour a day. You trade a higher time frame. If you're trying to scalp the 5 minute chart, yeah, it's tough to have a 9 to 5 job, but just pop up time frames and you'll be totally fine. Michelle says, "Do you think gold will be above or below $4,100 at the end of the year?" These are like crazy questions. Like I never answer these questions because I have no idea. Um, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. If I had to guess, it depends if the risk off vibes stay. If the rest of the year is like yesterday, yes. If the rest of the year is not like yesterday, then no. So this monthly candle from a technical perspective is a bit bearish. Well, it's quite bearish. So I have absolutely no idea. But if I had to guess, gold usually does quite well in December. I don't know. It's tough. I can make an argument for both. Yeah, that's not much of an answer, but what's the most effective way to align a trading edge with prop firm rules like consistency caps? Don't sign up for a prop firm with consistency caps. Don't sign up for a prop firm with news restrictions. It's as simple as that. That's the most effective way. Just pay more money for a prop firm that has easier rules. It's as simple as that. Trading's hard enough. Don't make it harder on yourself. Yeah, don't make it harder on yourself than it already is. Okay, that's it. I appreciate you guys being here. This means Naruto Naruto won the account. I really appreciate you guys all being here. Congrats. I love doing these live streams. Remember, last day for 10% off at Lark, code October 10 at Lark. It's the last day. Drop the Naruto, please email us at support@larkfunding.com. We'll give you that account. Going to be back on Monday. As always, on Monday, I'll share with you guys the special promo that's coming on Monday. So I'm very, very excited for that. But it's Friday. We'll see what the market does. Maybe it'll be a skittish. Maybe it'll be quiet. We'll see what happens. But I love doing these live streams. 21 people here, which I think is like the most ever. So really, genuinely, just really, really appreciate it. Appreciate all the questions. Yeah, I'm just very grateful for it. So you guys are literally taking time out of your day to be here. So I'm very appreciative. I hope you all have a great, great weekend. Don't think about the market too much. And I'll see you guys on Monday. All the best.